Fine. So come back to this. There is one more settings.xml, nothing guys, whatever I explained just now, right? It contains the server details and all. Okay. So plugins is another feature of the Maven. Okay, where plugins is the other section. You will be doing the external things apart from what Maven supports you. Okay, guys, can you keep yourself in mute? Okay, thanks. So other than Maven regular tasks, okay, if you need any external task to be done, okay, I can clearly give an example. In Ant, right, Ant have default tasks like Java, C, Java, etc and all. Okay, but if you remember, if you want to copy a file to remote Linux machine, if you want to run a kind of Perl script or Bash script, or if you want to, like, send an email, do you remember all these are the external tasks which are not part of your Ant installation, but you can make use of this external tasks, okay, and you can implement some feature. So in Maven, the same thing is implemented with the plugins concept. That's it, nothing else. Okay, it's something like an external task in the Ant is implemented in the Maven with the help of the plugins. If you remember, if you look at Maven, so you might be asking a question: can Maven only do the build, compile, package, install, deploy? That's it. It cannot do anything else. It can do many things with the help of the plugins, guys. Okay, so I'll take one example and give you what exactly a plugin it is, okay, and how it will run it. Now, one example is I want to run, okay, my jar file, because there is no typical workflow for execution of a jar file here. I want to see my hello world on the console, so I want to execute a jar file. So how to do that using Maven? The Maven default lifecycle will not support any execution, guys. Okay, so for that you have to depending on some plugins. So these plugins in your POM structure. So if you look at your POM structure, so these are your coordinates, these are your dependencies, this is your distribution management. Now there is one more section will be there. Okay, this section is going to be your build section. Okay, so inside the build section, okay, you will be having plugins. Okay, you will be having the plugins, right? So inside the plugins, you can have each and every individual plugin. So these plugins are the kind of features which you can implement in your Maven project. Okay, now let's try to get a plugin to implement the execution of a jar. Okay, I had documented this in my documentation, so let's make use of the same thing. So this is what the command clean package and exec colon Java. So if you run this command and argument, right, so this will trigger your execution of a jar file. So you have to get these plugins, guys. Inside the build plugin section, you have multiple plugins. This is one plugin, okay, and there's one more plugin. So you need to make use of these two plugins to run a jar file execution. Okay, so let's try to copy these two things, those two plugins, and keep it in your build section. Okay, now it's tough to remember each and every tag, attribute, their version. That's the reason in Maven, right? So we generally depend on the documentation, guys. Okay, so we just copy paste from the documentation. That is more than enough. And you know what, we don't do it every day. This job, this is one time effort. Okay, only thing is you should understand what exactly these tags and all, what is the structure of it. Now there's a Maven assembly plugin available. If you Google it, you will understand, guys. I just copy paste from my document, but even you go to the Google, same thing you can find the stacks and all. Okay, so Maven assembly. Yeah, somebody saying something.
Plugin is 2 time, I guess, at the starting.
Plugin. It is plugins.
Okay,
Yeah, plural. Nothing but inside there is only one plugins is there. Inside that you can have a plugin. This is one
got
plugin.
it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. This is. So I'll make alignment so that it will be easier for you to find it out. Nice. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. I just said it. Now this is the Maven assembly plugin where you need to mention your class name of your app. Okay, my app class name is my company app. Same thing. What is the app you build it, right? And the thing is, and there is one more code house plugin is there. There you need to mention your package jar file. So what is your jar file is? Where exactly it is inside the target, and my jar name is not org my company. Look it out your jar file name. What is your jar file name, guys? Go to your folder, G, Maven online, app, target, app hyphen 1.0 jar. Okay, this is what my jar. So try to keep that. Right? Now, main class name or my company app. Yeah, this is as usual. Now let's try to run the command what it says to execute my execution of a jar file. Okay, so he is saying prepare your package first. Okay, you should have a jar file, then only you can do this. Okay, now let's prepare a package first.
Okay, just a minute, Chiranjeevi. Where do you get these information from, like artifact ID and?
Okay, these are all available. That no, you know what, plugins can be developed by anybody. It's an open source tool, people can develop. So there are some people that develop this, like, plugin. Actually every plugin will contain artifact ID. Okay, and there
Oh,
information like this. If you want, you can just Google it. Maven code hojo plugin, Maven assembly plugin. Okay, so they will give you the entire data about that. Okay, Maven assembly plugin, how it is there and all. Somewhere you can find it. You just Google it properly, you'll get the tags and Maven assembly plugin to execute executable. Because I searched earlier a lot, finally I found. Can you see this? Maven assembly plugin and the version and the configuration, etc., etc. So you will get all this information either in the Maven site or in some public sites. Okay, you just have to blindly copy because it is not static always. They can give whatever the inputs they want. Okay, you just have to make use of them. So that's the reason I put only once, because it takes some time to search all of them. Okay, where is my
wait,
form?
what is the purpose of this? Like, why do you need to create a plugin and why do you need to use it?
Okay, I'm coming there. See, my main intentions to go for the plugins is, apart from the just build package, running the unit test, installing and deploying, can I do something else with Maven? Okay, this question comes into the picture, plugins will come into the picture. You can implement other than the default features of Maven with the help of the plugins. That's it. Just like in an ant you have a default ant task. Apart from that, if you wanted to do something else, like copying some files to Linux machine, sending some email, okay, implementing the if condition and all, so you do many other things. But how you're doing it, you're downloading some external libraries from somewhere else and keeping in the lib and writing some custom tasks. Same thing you're doing in the Maven with the help of the plugins. That's it. Did you understand? What does the plugin mean?
Oh, okay.
Okay, any custom requirements you do with the plugins, right? Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm giving one example as a custom requirement, execution of a jar file. I want to execute a jar file. That is not a default thing in my Maven, so I have to depend on some plugin. So I'm depending on these two plugins to execute a jar file. Okay, so let's try to run this. Men clean.
Yeah. Sorry. One more thing. Who writes the plugins? Is it the developers or do we have to write it?
Even the developer will not write it. Okay, you will get it in the Apache site itself. All these plugins.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I mean for the custom plugins.
Yeah, custom plugins and all. In case I don't see in a typical development companies, people are writing the plugins. They don't get a time to write their own code and they don't spend time on the plugins and all. Typically, the plugins are done by some open source folks in the open source community. We will be downloading from them. We'll making use of them. We nothing but the developers will add all these things. Even you don't add these plugins and all. Developers will add and you are executor. But I'm saying, if you treat yourself as a developer, how you get them?
Oh,
Okay? So that's what I'm trying to explain. MVN clean. I just clean my target. MVN package. I'm creating package. So package nothing but I should be having a jar. Okay. So once you have a jar folder, then run MVN exec Java. Now look at this. Can you see it is downloading the plugins? Just like a dependencies, it even downloads the plugins also. Whatever you mention in the plugins directory, it will download even them. So it is throwing some error, guys. Let's see what exactly. Did we run properly? Exec Java. Exec Java, correct? An exception occurred. Org my company app. This is wrong actually. Ours is org my company one. src main Java com my company, not org actually. Okay, it's a com. Yeah. Where is org then? Did I mention org anywhere here in my pound.xml? Com. Yeah, here it is org. It's wrong, right? It's com. It should be. Now try to trigger it again. You have to compile it again, guys. Okay. Maven. Let's do clean package first. Then run execute. Yep, it is executed fine. You know what? You see? Can you see output here? Hello world. Did you observe this? Your program is hello world. Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll make some good changes. Then you can observe that. I'll put some stars so that in a console we can observe this hello world. Save it. I change some source code. Compile this again. Maven package. Okay, can you see star 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 hello world? So this is how you can make use of any of the custom plugins. Okay, this is just an example. Tomorrow if you get a chance to work on something else, you just browse it. You will get the respective tags, keep them in the build plugin section, and try to do the execution. You won't be successful in the first attempt. You have to look at the errors and fix it. Look at the errors and fix it by looking at the error explanation. Most probably you should be able to understand the first attempt. If you don't understand, copy paste error in the Google, you'll get what is missing, what is not missing. Everything you can easily identify. Okay, so to understand, at least to debug this thing, right, you should know how Maven works. Okay, then only you can proceed with the debugging and all. Okay, now that's something about the plugins concept, guys. Okay, if you want to explain the rest of the plugin, there are n number of plugins are there. The concept is same: add a plugin, execute the tag, add a plugin, execute the thing. That's it. Okay.
So for every task, like you run the .jar file here, so every different task we supports by plugin Maven, we have such kind of code, right?
Yes.
These plugins will be available, right?
Yes. The plugin guys will give you the data. Okay. Such kind of a
So we
tagline.
just have to copy paste and just
Yes, you
make
remember.
use of
Yeah,
them.
you remember those commands. That is more than enough.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. So that's one example for the plugins. Now profiles. Okay. Profile is a very small topic. What do you mean by profile is? Okay. The thing is, profile is nothing but if I prepared my project Power.xml. I'm just doing the things right now. Everything is good. I have a requirement where I wanted to perform entire project to build. Okay. Also, I wanted to do the packaging even. I mean nothing but sorry, not packaging, executing the jar file even. Okay. So I cannot do it with a typical Maven package and all, because I have to call with the Maven exec and all. Okay. It's not a better explanation actually. Let me think about something else. Okay, environment wise I'll explain. See, typically we build Maven projects for different environments. Maybe if you're building for the dev environment, right? Okay, you may use some resource files. The developer may use some dev resource files. Okay, while compiling the code, you will write the respective code in the Maven. Okay. Now similarly, when you're trying to build it for the QA, okay, you will use some QA configuration files, QA resource files. Okay, and when you're trying to build it for some production, okay, you will make use of some prod config resources. Okay, so if you wanted to get this kind of environment, right, you are supposed to create 3 pom.xmls, 3 projects. Then only you can do it with whatever you learned as of now. Instead of that, okay, I want to have only one project, one pom.xml, but I want to build it for 3 types of environments. How can I achieve that? So this kind of when I say dev nothing but the build should go through with a few configurations of the dev environment only. QA nothing but QA environment. So how can I implement this kind of one's future specific build? Okay, so that you can do with the help of the profiles concept. I can prepare some dev profile, some QA profile, some prod profile, and from my command prompt, okay, I can call respective -p profile. I want to call I want to do the dev build, nothing but -p dev nothing but it will execute the dev profile build, not a regular build. So I need to prepare this kind of profiles in my Power.xml so that I can call them from my command prompt. And if you want to do the QA build, you can do a -p QA build, something like this. Okay, so this is called a profiling. I need to give an example for that right now. Okay, guys, you're saying something. Any questions?
can you explain once again why this is profiles basically?
Okay, see, I don't have exact project to do with the dev queue and all, but instead, whatever I explained with that, I can explain you. We prepare, okay, how to embed this plugins with, 1 second, guys. Did I kept something in the documentation? Profiles. Profile declaration is fine. Okay, now I got an idea after looking at this. Fine. Now I want to show you something. Okay, forget about this dev and all. First thing is I want a straight build. Okay, I just want to do the build. Okay, build nothing but it should just generate the jar file, guys. Okay, and second thing is I wanted to perform the execution of my jar file. Okay, so for this anyway you will be adding on plugin and all. Okay, and for doing this jar actually you don't require this assembly plugin, Maven assembly plugin. Okay, Maven assembly plugin is not required to do the just a jar, but I want to execute something. Okay, so for this I need this jar file. So the thing is, if somebody wants to do the execution, a plain execution, they can go with this kind of an environment, and somebody wants to execute a jar file, they have to go with the plugins plugins tag into the plugin section. Okay, build section. So now what I wanted to do it, I want to segregate both of them. Okay, so I want to prepare two profile, one profile which is for this and other is a default one. Okay, so if I pass the profile, then only it will perform the execution, otherwise it shouldn't do any execution. Okay, I'll do the changes, then you'll understand much better here. Okay, so this plugins is there, right? So this plugins, I'll keep it in profiles, prepare one profile. You move this entire stuff into profile, profiles. Okay, so if you look at this, the build section, I moved into the profiles part. I need to give the profile ID even, something like this, profile ID. Yeah, so take it as a something called Java exec. This is what my ID, Java exec. Okay, fine. So look at this powered XML. Now I enabled a profile, okay, in this powered XML. Now you come back here, CLS MVN clean, right? Now you do the MVN package. It does the package fine without any issues. Okay, now MVN exec :Java. Okay, can you see this? The MVN space exec : Java was working till earlier. Now it is not working. The reason it is, there is no plugin available to execute this because this is under the profile. The plugin section is under the profile. You don't have this build plugin in a default layout of your Maven. Okay, so in case if you wanted to perform this particular activity where executing the Java thing, okay, so what you're supposed to do it is you pass your profile, okay, saying like -p, what is your profile name? Java exec, okay, then you perform this. Can you see hello world now? Now did you anybody understand how I'm trying to differentiate the profiles with the normal execution?
Yes, you are giving the key kind of thing, like
yes, it's a kind of a key. Now same thing in my Maven formed XML, like Java exec, something like Java exec 1, exec 2. See, each and every profile will have some feature. Okay, so when I'm running some feature, I want to identify that feature with the profile. I don't want to make that feature as default of my Maven Pond XML. That's where profiling comes into the picture. Did you understand now?
Yeah, we understand, but that why you give the Java access that's ID, like it will be anything or what, like
It can be
we can
anything.
set
It
up.
can be anything. Guys, I'm writing
Yes,
test now.
that's our okay.
Okay,
Okay, got
you
it.
type test. What are the ID? This is the ID of your profile. I'm passing the profile ID. Now I'm passing test. Did you see this? You can give anything. It's not Java execute something like, I put a meaningful name, but you can give anything. Like this is test one. Now you say it will not work for test because there is no test. It is a test one. Now profile test one is activated now. Now that is running. Do you understand now? Profile. You can create
Yes.
multiple profiles similarly. See, this is one profile, right? Let me create one more profile inside the profiles. This is one more profile, but make sure you give a unique ID. Test one is already there. Now test two. Okay. Test two. It works. This profile also. Okay. Now thing is, if I pass without any profile, it will not work. It will fail. Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay, see, I don't have a correct I mean, it's not a correct, this is also a correct example, but I don't have any kind of feature to implement the profiles right now. It's just for the sake of profile explanation, I'm giving this example. That's it. Okay. So generally, this build section, what developers will do it, instead of test one and all, they make this something like a dev nothing but they're doing the dev build. Here, instead of this these things and all, they will localize some configuration files. Like, they point to their DB IP, their port number and all. Okay. And similarly at the bottom, this is for the QA environment. Okay. And they point to the QA DB, QA, I mean, those details and all. So that, they'll be having an environment specific builds. Okay. So they can pass their environment saying like, if they pass -p dev nothing but it is doing for the dev only the build. If they pass QA, it is doing for the QA only. So that's how they want to differentiate it. Right? That's the reason we need to introduce the profiles into the format XML to give a feature of like, different flavors of the same build. Did you understand the profiles?
Yes. Yes, sure.
Yeah. So if you look at any of the Power XML while you are going through any of the project, right? If you see some profile, nothing but, so when you want to execute that features of the profile, you have to default pass the profile name. Otherwise, it will not execute. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens, the developer says, without executing the profile, if you're not passing any profile, see, if you're passing the profile, it's okay. If you're not passing any profile, it is not going to the profile section even, it is just looking at the main POM and looking for some dependencies and going ahead. Now my question was, even if I don't pass the any of the profile, right, by default you execute the dev profile, nothing but I mean somebody may asking you, make this dev as a default profile. Okay, so how to make that this as a default profile? Okay, so to make this as a dev as a default profile, you just have to add one more entry here. The entry is something like this. Do you see anywhere in the document? No. I'll look at this. Activate profile in format example. Okay, this is what I just want to show you. After the ID, you need to put one more tag like this. Now after the ID, activation, activate by default true. So what do you mean by this is default this dev is activated. Now as of now you're passing profile dev, right? Then only it was successful. Now let me do one thing. Just look at this. I didn't pass the profile, but it is executed. You know what? The reason it is your dev profile become the default one. If you remove the activation, right, it will not be default. It will throw an error. It is throwing an error. So did you understand what is the activation now?
Yes.
Okay, so this activation you can make it at the format XML level. Okay, fine. Now here, that's about the profiles concept. A simple concept. Yeah, if I can explain this one project and to Maven migration, we are pretty much done with the Maven guys. Okay, now I've seen few projects like they're asking we are fed up with the Ant and all, we want to migrate to the Maven. So could you please help us to migrate to the Maven? So how to do that? Okay, so let's take one ant project. Okay, if you remember the last session, we had one ant project. Okay, let's take that ant project. I don't have ant project here. I think I should be having in my documents. SCM training and example. Yeah, this is what my ant project. Take this project. Copy this. Come back to your Maven. Paste it here. And example project, guys. And example. Okay. So some web application, guys. And example web application. This is what my ant project. Now it is having a source, web content, build folder and all as usual, like typical ant structure. Now somebody asking, could you please convert this into a Maven based project? So how to do that? As of now in the market, we don't have any tools which can convert a AND project into the Maven, but few folks written some tools where they will convert at least some percentage of the conversion. Nothing but few tools, okay, will convert the AND code into Maven at least some 50 to 70%. Okay, the remaining 30, I mean 50 to 30%, right? So you have to do it manually, guys. Okay, always most of the part, if you face any issues and all, the rest migration should be done manually. Okay, you have to do it manually. So how to do that and what tools are available? See, they are not proprietary, some big tools and all. Somebody written like you and me, even we can also write the typical tool, because it's nothing, guys. You convert this src as src only, and instead of build.xml, create a pom.xml, you put a coordinates, all these things you do it. So I've seen one guy written this Mavenize Mavenization tool. It's tough to get that link actually. He put in the Google source actually somewhere. Yeah, Mavenized tool. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, this guy only. Okay, somebody written this Mavenized tool. So I'm just making use of this. You can use anything, guys. You can find a number of tools in the Google. You just download some tool, but none of the tool will provide you 100% Mavenization. Remember, they will do at some extent, but rest of the stuff you have to do it. So download this jar. Download the jar file. It's a very tiny jar, 2.7 MB jar. Okay, so take it would have downloaded by this time. Check out the jar. Is it still doing? Why it's become too slow? Let me download again. It's 2 MB taking this much of time. Something went wrong. Guys, can you able to see my screen? All of
Yes,
you?
we can.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we.
I can share my screen, so the net should be properly good. But I don't know why it is taking this much of time. 2 MB hardly. Uh,
Something problem with the file, jar
uh,
file.
I'm just thinking about this file. Maybe there was something wrong with this file only. It's a Google site only actually. It should be faster. If you were able to talking in this meeting, nothing but our network should be fine actually. Okay, so there shouldn't be any issue with the net. Taking this much of time. pause this. At least this should be faster. Am I having any already downloadable? It's a new machine. It is my old machine is there. I would already there in my machine. Let me check. G drive up. Nope. Old man directors are not there. Alright, almost finished. Something wrong with the browser, guys. In the same machine in the Linux it is pretty fast. Okay, so if you browser Chrome it is taking more time. Let me open Internet Explorer. Paste it. Save. 12%, 13, 14, 15. Come on, why it is too slow? I can do one thing. I can share from my Linux machine. Whatever it is stored here, right? CP, how nice, to Vagrant. I can copy there so that this will be available in my Vagrant directory. So yeah, I have the jar file. Okay, this is from my Linux, guys. I downloaded from Linux. Let's use this. G drive, Maven online, and keep the jar. Okay, let's try to run the jar file actually. Without inputs, we'll see. I don't remember even the inputs. Java hyphen jar. This is how you run it. Mavenize.jar. Come on. Java hyphen jar mavenize.jar. Have a look at this. It is showing you the arguments. Actually, I don't know how to run this. I'm just running it so that it will throw any error. It is not error. You're not supposed to run like this. It is giving nice command where I have to provide the required inputs. Okay. The inputs are going to be after the jar. Okay. -I, which is nothing but my source directory. -I. What is my source? And example directory, right? Which is and example. Next, what is the output? Output is going to be your Maven directory structure. Okay, input is your ant code structure and output is going to be your Maven structure. So give some name, guys. Okay, so men ant, something men ant, nothing but let's say something like men example, men example. Okay, next. Target is done. -T project type. What kind of project type? Even I'm not sure about the project type. Let's see. -V is good. Version I can give you 1.0.0, some version. -P packaging I can give it. What type of packaging? It should be a var. Okay, that I know. So provide the inputs which you know it and enter. That's it. It is converted the project into the Mavenized project. You go back and check it out. Can you see Maven example IMP? Go inside and it is created Maven practice online. And yeah, this is what your code base, actual code base. Okay, so just copy this code base into the here. Unnecessarily created so many directories, you don't record all of them. So this is what your Maven code base, and you try to open the pom.xml. And what are the inputs you gave it, right? So you gave a var, okay, and you gave the artifact ID and example something, okay, and it is automatically pulled com vanilla from your source code. Okay, your source code, it is scanning your source code and getting this group ID, okay, and version which I gave it. So it just pulled on, I just prepared only the coordinates, but with these coordinates, right, I cannot do anything else. And you look at your source, does it have a main, Java, com, vanilla? Can you see all the source code is there? Okay, let me close this. So you have the entire source code. Okay, now parallel to Java, as it is a web application, right? Okay, your Maven expects one folder called web apps. If you remember the Maven sample counter web app, right? You look at the counter web app inside SRC, inside the main, parallel to Java, you have a folder called web app. So you need to have the web app folder also. But actually your tool didn't copy the web app. Okay, it ignored completely web app. Now your job is to copy the web app from, it is a web content in AND, but you have to copy it with the web app into your Maven. Go to the SRC main, parallel to Java, you should have a web app folder, web app. Okay. Now this web app contains entire structure, but you don't require the libraries. You can remove the libraries actually. Okay. Because what is the main motive of Maven? The library should not be part of your source code. So remove the libraries. You don't even require these libraries directly. Okay. Remove them. It should contain only the static content like these kind of files and JSPs, web.xmls. Okay. And that's it. Okay, now you have a web app, you have a source code, you have resources, everything. It's also empty, then nothing is there. If you want, you can remove this even. Okay, so now your source code contains the entire code base and required configurations, and this is what your permanent XML. Let's try to run this. Of course it will fail, guys. The reason it is, if you look at the permanent XML, there is no dependency. Without dependency, your product will not compile, because those it requires some libraries. Okay, so without those libraries it will not compile the code. That's what you seen in the AND session also. Okay, in AND session, what do you do to read the dependency? You create a path variable, right? So with the path variable you read it, but here the same thing, you have to identify the dependencies. But before that, let's try to run and see. CD to that, MEN clean. There's nothing to clean actually. I'm just running the clean. MEN compile. Spelling mistake. It's compile. So how look at this? So many compilation errors. Look at this. These are all the compilation errors. Okay, total 8 errors are there. I know the reason why these errors are there, because the Maven compiler is not able to find any of these dependencies, because your source code, look at user controller, it depends, error cannot find the symbol. Okay, so it is having n number of these errors. Okay, the reason it is not able to find the import things. Okay, imported packages. If you can you see this? Or the Spring framework, it is unable to, does not exist, it is saying nothing, but it is unable to find this library actually. Okay, so you look at the source code, you'll understand why this is failing. SRC main Java com.
Libraries in the sense, the libraries which we download directly from
Internet.
internet, that libraries you are talking, right?
Yes.
Not the libraries which are our code is migrating.
Yeah, while code
So
migrating.
we don't require the libraries basically in the Maven, right?
Yes,
we deleted just.
yeah, which we deleted.
That's
Yes,
different.
yeah, that's a different. Yeah, so those libraries we deleted, right? Now we want them from the Maven central repository. We don't want to take it from the developer. You got my point. Okay, see, if you want those libraries, you can keep it into your .m2, you can make this build successful. Okay, but the thing is, we don't want to take that just like from the developer. We wanted to manage with the Maven workflow. Okay, so for that you have to mention them in the dependency section. Right now your dependency is empty. There is no dependency and all. Now you need to mention the dependency of those libraries, so that those libraries are automatically downloaded from the central repository or in your remote repository, wherever. Okay, so you look at the user controller. Okay, so this code base is depending on this import statement. Depends the this import statement says library, so it depending on Spring framework. Okay, so I need the Spring framework library actually. So where can I find it? Just copy that, guys. Okay, so go to the Google, you can find the respective library. Form tag, say form tag. Just click on this. Come down, somewhere you can find it. Which version is looking for now? 3.2. You can take 3.1, 3.2 or whatever. Okay. So can you see Spring framework, this Maven dependency? So you just copy this and keep it into your Command.xml dependency. Okay, because org Spring framework, Spring web. Okay, let's see whether it will work fine or not. Okay, Maven compile. So it will download from the internet now. Can you see it is downloading Spring framework now?
Like this, we have to get all the dependencies, I guess.
Yes, you have to get all of it. You're right. It's a one time because migration you don't do it every day, right? One time you do it. So you prepare this format XML, make it ready, compilable, successful. Then that's it. Your migration is done. I think something wrong with my internet. So 172 KB it is taking time like anything. 107. Good. So it's failed, guys. Again, maybe the dependency which you added may not be a correct one. Okay, we have to find for the right dependency, guys. Okay, so I don't think that is the correct one.
Maybe version problem.
Yeah, that
Because
might see. That's what migration won't happen with one fix and all. We have to find out the right version and all. So let me look at the version which is there in the Ant project exactly. See, in an Ant example, you can see the version actually in web content, webinf, lib. Which version it is? 300 guys. 300 M3. So let's see 300 M3. 3.0.0. Let's take this Spring Web. Yeah. Let's try to add this and see. Uh, Come on, it again downloading. Yeah, it's a new version, right? You should download. hmm I don't think this is a jar, so uh, let's see. We'll put this directly in the Google. We will get exactly the right artifact. Does not exist. Dependency. Somebody getting same thing and he's adding the version. Uh, let's see this. Web MVC. Next, done. So it got the required libraries, guys, and the build has been successful. And you can see the artifacts in your Maven example. Can you see target? You just compile. Now you prepare a war file. Instead of compile, you make a package. Okay, and it prepares a package. Your ant example 100. Okay, see you gave a name called ant example 100. If you want, you can change your artifact ID, guys. So change your ID saying like Maven example. So it is ant example, right? Make it as a main example. Okay, so it will prepare the respective. Sorry, that's it. Okay, so put the target. It is a main example, right? So this is what a sample application migration, guys. Okay, so you
I mean, we have to find all the, we have to look for all the dependencies and
you
completely
are
we have to
you
migrate.
are right, absolutely right. Now this application requires only the Spring one. Tomorrow your application may require 10 libraries. Okay, you have to get the right dependency tag and add it and check the build. Okay, once it's actually done, give the binaries to the developer, ask him to verify whether these binaries are matching with your anti-build binaries. Okay, if they are matching, then you say the migration has been successfully done, and you can push this code to the your repository, Git and all, and you ask the people to make use of the Maven commands to do the compilation, packaging and all, and keep antacide. That's it. And even you ask the developers to follow the Maven flow. Okay, because tomorrow if they want to add another binary, they just have to add the taglines and all. They don't have to maintain any libraries. Okay, so this kind of instruction you have to provide to the developers once migration is done. Did you get it?
Is in real time we have to do this all like
Like you may?
hello.
Yeah, I'm
I
listening.
would say in real time it's works like a migration from AND to
Not,
Maven,
yeah,
all the
and
project.
yes, it happens. Yes, I've seen. I did one project even. Okay, but it won't happen like few minutes like how we did it. It will be a very very big project. Okay, yeah, there will be
Mm-hmm.
n number of dependencies are there and n number of versions are there. Sometimes the compilation is good, everything is fine. You'll get the jar, but the jar will not work. But what are the jar which you build with that it will work. Okay, so you have to check with the developer, is it a right version of binary I'm using. Okay, so what was the issue? So you closely work with the developers to fix all those issues, and it takes more time. It won't happen in a day, it takes some days.
Okay.
So then you have to come up with the right one, but you should know the process, right? So what do you
Yeah, if somebody, yeah, we should know at least what's going on,
yeah, what's
what
going
we have
on?
to do that time.
Yes. Right, so you definitely need a developer help in the migration. You can come up with the kind of build success and format XML everything, but you're not sure whether the generated binary is the correct one or not. Okay, fine guys, so with this I can wind up with the Maven. Okay, we are pretty much with good. I mean, this with this knowledge, right, we can handle any kind of the Maven related project. Only thing is this is a kind of a base. Okay, when you find a really good project and all, you have to explore more on the net related to the more plugins. Okay, implementing the profiles. Okay, giving the dependencies, setting up the nexus. Okay, the buzzwords and all. Now at this point of time, you should be able to understand the repositories concept, dependencies, coordinates of the Maven. Everything are kind of like the listen words for you. Okay, and if you go to any of the new products and all, the basics you know to look into it. You have to just explore the new things. Okay, advanced things of the Maven and get into it, and that will be easier if you have this kind of a foundation for you.